one of the most unique artists of the 60s in the Laurel Canyon music scene who doesn't get near enough credit for their unique blend of folk rock, inspired by the Byrds, and dark poetic blues rock like the Doors, was a band led by Arthur Lee, known simply as Love. Love was founded in 1965 in Los Angeles by Arthur Lee, who was their principal singer and songwriter, and Johnny Eccles, the lead guitar player. At the time, they were one of the only groups in LA, along with Sly and the Family Stone, who were combining both black and white musicians. Arthur Lee was born in Memphis, Tennessee in 1945, but his family moved to Los Angeles when he was very young, and he grew up in the Crenshaw neighborhood, surrounded by culture and music. He was a multi-instrumentalist inspired by everyone from Ray Charles to Curtis Mayfield to Elvis Presley and Bob Dylan. In high school, he played in several local R&B and soul bands. But in the mid-60s, as the folk rock sound started to emerge, he began experimenting with his own sound. A combination of rhythm and blues, psychedelic rock, and the jangly folk rock sound made popular by musicians like Roger McGuinn. It was around this time, right before either of them got famous, that Arthur met James Hendrix, who was going by Jimmy James at the time still, and the two of them got to know each other as black musicians trying to make it in a scene that was still overwhelmingly white. Well, eventually Jimmy figured it out, and so did Arthur. He and Johnny started Love, and they got a house in Laurel Canyon. They were regulars on the Sunset Strip, and they got a record contract in 1966, releasing their debut studio album shortly afterward. Their song 7 and 7 Is was their breakout hit, and it almost has kind of a garage rock feeling to it. But it would be their 1967 album Forever Changes and the song Alone Again Or, which would establish them in the mainstream as an important part of the LA scene. Despite these minor hits, Love's music was largely overlooked for a few reasons. First of all, Elektra Records just did not have the know-how at the time to market a racially integrated band. Second, as a result of his genius and the realization that he wasn't being recognized the same way as those around him, Arthur became more and more of a perfectionist, leading to tension and outbursts in rehearsals, recordings, and even on stage, where he was known to walk off if unsatisfied with the conditions. He sort of got a reputation for being difficult, which hindered the band's progress, and of course the rampant substance abuse in the band did not help. After 1967, Arthur Lee withdrew from the mainstream, focusing more on art and experimentation rather than commercial success. He was super ahead of his time, experimenting with orchestration, darker themes, and avant-garde folk rock. They started to dissolve around 1968, and Arthur continued, often playing solo, until he reformed the band with a new group of all black musicians, shifting their sound toward harder edge rock and funk influences. Over the years, they would come back together a couple of times until Arthur's death in 2006. We made this Laurel Canyon home t-shirt to celebrate the place where Love and so many other artists like them created some of the most iconic music of the 20th century. Check it out in our shop with the rest of our music lover inspired merch.